Hey, welcome to my website, my program this week. I want to talk a little bit about something that's very hot in the news right now, and that's the approval of federal judges by the Senate that have been appointed by the president. A lot of controversy right there. Have you ever heard the term gray mice when it comes to the judiciary? Inside lawyers know that gray mice are incompetent federal judges. We have a lot of them down here in the New Orleans area in Louisiana, and I'll tell you a little bit about them. Not all judges. We've got some pretty fair, decent judges, but anybody that makes a big case for appointing federal judges can look at what's going on right now to see the incompetence that we find on the federal bench. Up in Washington, D.C., there is hearings up there right now, and we've got a pretty decent senator in Louisiana called John Kennedy. Senator John Kennedy's been asking some very tough questions, real tough questions. Here's some of the questions he's asked of some of the current nominees. Have you ever argued a motion in state or federal court? Have you ever appeared in state or federal court? Have you ever taken a deposition? Have you ever overseen a deposition? Basic premises that any judge on the state or local level or the district court level in the federal court would certainly be able to answer, and certainly be able to have said, yes, I do that kind of thing. You've never even argued a case in federal court. How can you be a federal judge? I'm not a distinguished federal attorney, but I've ordered cases, argued cases before the Louisiana Supreme Court. I'm admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court. And yet many of these judges don't meet that test at all. That's typical of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals operating out of New Orleans. For those of you who don't know how the federal court system works, you go into most major cities and they have a federal courthouse, federal judges. If you want to appeal that decision at the federal level, you go up to the Court of Appeals. There's 13 Court of Appeals in this country. One of them, the Fifth Circuit, is located in New Orleans. It makes up of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And traditionally, it's been the most incompetent court anywhere in the country. I can tell you a few things about several justices have said the worst decisions that come out of the court system of the country in the Fifth Circuit. Let me give you some of the headlines down there. These are some of the newspaper headlines in the past few years that have come from papers in this part of the country. Fifth Circuit covers up serious judicial misconduct. Here's another one. Another conflict of interest uncovered on the Fifth Circuit. Judicial diva gone wild. Chief judge tells fellow judge to shut up. Chief judge attacks federal judge. Fifth Circuit throws a hissy fit. Pattern of misconduct demands full investigation of Fifth Circuit judges. Those are headlines from papers across the country about the judges down here. Well, the good news for those judges is we've got some judges out of Washington, or potential judges, nominees out of Washington, D.C. that are just as bad for the Fifth Circuit. And I wish the Senate would take this job more seriously, and I wish the president would do a little bit more review of who he appoints to the federal bench. There's a guy named Kyle Duncan going up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals that has been nominated to do so. And he said he held the prominent historic job in Louisiana. He was claiming to hold a specific title that doesn't even exist. He said he was the first Louisiana Solicitor General. There is no such thing as Solicitor General. This guy, by the way, is the fellow that said that John Thompson, who served 18 years on death row, wasn't entitled to any money for being put on death row. I think that, he got a $10 bill and got a bus ticket when he left Angola prison. And this guy, Duncan, argued the case before the U.S. Supreme Court, saying he should not be given one penny for what happened to him. Completely unqualified to be on the federal bench. I get so mad about this, I can go on and on with you. And again, go on YouTube and pull up Senator John Kennedy judges and look at some of the incompetent judges who've been nominated on the Fifth Circuit. I got a little, if I were on a senator, I'd give a few little interpretations. Like I say, this guy Peterson was the latest nominee of the president. Couldn't even answer basic questions about what a federal judge does or have done anything along those lines. Here's some terms in case those federal judges want to know about it. The term lawsuit, that obviously is what you wear in court. It's a lawsuit, right? That would be something that one of these guys ought to know. How about judicial review? That's probably the number of likes on a judicial Twitter feed. I'm sure that would be a good answer. Recusal. That's a brief judicial nap that the judges take. They recuse themselves and take a nap. How about the sidebar? Well, obviously, that's the liquor stash the judges keep during the courtroom. Bench trial, the act of shopping for a new judge's chair. Bench trial, right? You got to trial it out. You got to do something like that. And then the case of Marbury versus Madison. That's the first NCAA National Football Championship. Those are a few hints for some of these federal judges, proposed federal judges, incompetent proposed federal judges that are being reviewed by the court right now. I'm appalled by it as a lawyer. I'm appalled by it as a taxpayer, Louisiana citizen. The president, with all due respect, needs to do a heck of a lot better than what he's done so far in picking judges to the federal bench. I'll be back.